What started as a joke, but people take it way too seriously today?
Dogecoin.
I remember a Twitter post where someone asked the Dogecoin creator whether they thought about the environmental impact when creating this coin. He replied saying he took 2 hours to create the cryptocurrency and did not consider anything.
Reading this reminded me to check my app where I bought a few dollars worth of Dogecoin out of boredom. Its value has tripled in the last week lol. I honestly have half a mind to sell it all and finally buy Cyberpunk on Steam.
Do it now before this Elon guy tweets again.
To be fair, the dude kind of lucked into a crypto that solved a lot of Bitcoin's problems. He started with Litecoin, which uses SERYPT and thus doesn't have the huge power suck. It relies on more memory to solve problems. He made the transactions more frequent and the monetary supply grows without a set cap and will grow about the size of global GDP each year. If you had thousands of people start cryptos by randomly pulling levers, one is bound to write.
To be fair, the dude kind of lucked into a crypto that solved a lot of Bitcoin's problems. He started with Litecoin, which uses SERYPT and thus doesn't have the huge power suck. It relies on more memory to solve problems. He made the transactions more frequent and the monetary supply grows without a set cap and will grow about the size of global GDP each year. If you had thousands of people start cryptos by randomly pulling levers, one is bound to write.
There was a post on one of the drama subs about a woman whose crypto bro boyfriend kept hounding her to invest too, so she threw money into Doge to get him to shut up despite him telling her it would tank. Well, of course her investment ended up being way better and he was mad salty. Probably fake, but still made me happy.
That's amazing. Haha. My hubby used to mine Bitcoin back in like 2010/2011, but he lost his computer in an international move. Didn't think anything of it, as we only had like 20 Bitcoin, so who cares, right? Haha. Fast forward a few years, and he was kicking himself so hard. LOL. He was so happy when he found out about my little Doge win. Thought it was a little justice for his loss. LOL.
I threw in $50 when it was barely at a penny just to see what would happen. I figured yeah it's a joke, but who knows, maybe I can make a couple $100 and if it drops, I'll only be down $50, no big deal. Then that shit went to 75 cents. I didn't sell at the top obviously, but when I did sell I was up $2K in profit. But holy shit, just thinking about if I would have put more money in when I first got it. It's a little heartbreaking TBH. The first year the EITC was expanded to 3 children, I got a tax return of almost $8,000. I had noticed that Bitcoin was over $3. The last time I looked at it, it was only with a few cents. I briefly considered buying 2,000 Bitcoin, but figured it would be back down to a few cents soon and I'd lose most of my money. If I hadn't sold it at its peak, I'd have over $100 million. I'm not allowed to talk about this around my ex.
I was high and drunk and tossed 400 at it one dumb night. Wheeled that 400 turned into 3,600 in a week. I walked up to my wife and told her we are going to Italy for our 25th wedding anniversary. She asked how. And I tried to explain, and that part was kinda hard. Because by the time she looked up Dogecoin, it was back in the pennies low. I had to show her the whole market move for the week before she believed I didn't steal it. Hee. The trip was great, and I am with this woman for over 30 years, 25 married, tongue sticking out. She still suspects something strange, but no. Dumb fucking luck.
I have a friend HWO had 180 Bitcoins at the very start, spent them all on hot dogs and soda at 7-Eleven. Flat Earth. Okay, so I took an intro to philosophy class in college. This is circa 2001, so flat Earth, not a big thing yet. Well, our professor says the Earth is flat, prove me wrong. So everyone is going through the normal ways to prove it. And seeing as this was the professor's lesson, he had some, relatively speaking, decent arguments. By the end of class, I was thinking that he might actually believe the Earth is flat. But the lesson he was trying to give us was that all information we have came from someone else. NASA says there are satellites in orbit, but we don't know that. And even the math necessary to prove it's possible was passed to you from another person. Point was, he wanted to make sure everyone always had an awareness of where they were getting information from. Good sources first and foremost, but even good info gets outdated, so make sure it's still accurate. He then went on to list like 5 ways you can test in your backyard that the Earth is round. So turns out he wasn't crazy. But I think about that class a lot. I worry that someone was trying to retell that lesson at Thanksgiving to their family. But they forgot how it was supposed to end. And accidentally got the flat Earth shit moving.
I remember that it's a forum. I think it's called www.flatearth.org or something. The forum said that it was a debate training ground. The idea was, if you can defend such a ridiculous idea as saying that the Earth is flat, then you can defend anything. Little did we know.
Flat Earth Society, one of the big things I remember was the penguins with laser eyes defending the ice wall surrounding the flat Earth from explorers.
Playing right into NASA's hands, I see, sheep.
Maybe I'll do some searching after work and see if I can find it. I'll recognize it if I see it. Edit, thinking back, it was probably something like Flat Society. Editor, can't find the site I remember on the Wayback Machine, but did find some 200-year-old flat Earth maps elsewhere.
First I saw anything about it seemed to be the likes of 4chan making stupid memes like pics of spirit levels on the ground with "explain this" captions. Of course some people have room temperature IQs and can't separate jokes from reality, and then I started seeing posts on Facebook and Twitter that didn't seem so jokey, and then it was posters and cars with stickers.
That's the problem with any satire ironic group like that. It starts with the original users acting the part, but it starts to get crazier and edgier. Then it slowly fills up with people that don't know it's a joke, or use joke as a cover when called out. Finally, all the originals are gone and you're left with a full-on, actual, unironically crazy group. So in 10 years we're going to be having mainstream discourse about how birds aren't real and are just little drones for the CIA. Oh God.
So in 10 years we're going to be having mainstream discourse about how birds aren't real and are just little drones for the CIA? Oh God.
What are you talking about? Birds are most certainly not real. Wake up, sheeple. /S in all seriousness, I do think that's going to happen one of these days.
How can birds be real if female orgasms aren't real?
Oh. Det är rebootreal, allrikt. Väl, vandos rekvire batteris, tog.
Sure. That's exactly what someone from the CIA would say.
It's funny you mention it. I just got out of a class where the lecturer referenced a paper called, like, Fish Don't Exist or something because there's a fish whose biological structure resembles that of a cow more than that of a shark. So the idea of using a joking topic in a serious conversation regarding our perception of reality isn't that far out.
I'd heard that. Fish exist, but our concept of fish is at best an agreed-upon idea because there's no simple, taxonomic way to define the word that includes everything we'd instinctively look at and say that's a fish and exclude everything we'd say isn't a fish. But yeah, that conversation about simplistic ideas breaking down when confronted with real-life complications devolving into there are no fish is probably happening as we speak. ETA, not an expert in anything anywhere near this. Just repeating an interesting discussion I got into about a month or 2 ago.
You ever realize how there used to be ostriches and other kinds of large birds, but as cameras got smaller, birds also got smaller?
That's how we ended up with Trump.